this weird alien dude, which we're not even sure what's going on. He has a long white hair. He is straight rocking out something. He is getting out like Scourge, I think his name was. It's like, what is this movie supposed to be? No wonder why Frank Langella was fucking confused. So the whole point being is that in the series that Kevin Smith creates, he's actually focused on people that we grew up with. He focuses on people that, oh, by the way, 6 out of the fucking 11 people in the new series, those main characters were in the fucking movie. That's the other funny thing. It's almost as if he's answering why the fuck was that movie even created. It's almost as if he's giving us a solid to what that bullshit we had to go through in the 80s. He's kind of like looking at it like, hey, how do I expand a fucking series, as Josh pointed out, which was based off of toys and basically nothing. It had a lot of questions that even if you were a fucking fan, you needed to be basically 12 years old or under to appreciate, because anyone older was just challenging the shit out of it. Like, oh, okay, so this guy, Adam, no one knows he's He-Man? Like, the dude doesn't even change his haircut. He doesn't fucking change his haircut. So we're not even changing anything. So there's so many things that happened from both the series and the movie that happened that left us with so many different weird questions that it almost makes sense that if you're going to start a whole new series, it kind of makes sense to focus on actually people we know. Tila, hate to fucking break it to a bunch of you incels, we know her. She's in the series. She's a main character. Even weird, and I'm gonna call out someone, and I love you, I'm sorry, but even weirdly, oddly putting her to She-Ra. She-Ra had her own goddamn series. Tila was in He-Man. That makes sense. Same thing with Man of Arms. Same thing with Skeletor. Same thing with Evil Lynn. Same thing with Beastman. Same thing with fucking Robot. Dude, they got Henry Rollins in this motherfucking production. I mean, we're over here bullshit.
Yes!
They even fucking brought in Orko. Sure, they made some new character because you have to expedition dump in any new series where there's so much mythos around it that everyone's going to be coming in from a different angle. But they actually fucking focus on people that we know. And to Josh's point, actually, would challenge them to a little bit. They actually do a pretty good job of fucking offing people. A lot of people get off before we even get to the last episode. We don't really want to talk about it. But the first episode, they like killed like 4 people. They were not fucking around throughout. So, yeah, I'm sorry, people. Tila, she was actually part of the fucking series of Masters of the Universe.
Da, da, da. Taking that breath. That's it. Walking around the ring as I'm just putting that hand up, looking for that, listening for the crowd, booing at us, cheering, galling us, or cheering us on. I don't know. It's tough to tell who's hero, who's heel today. But I'm going to throw two quick shots in here that Kevin Smith made Orko a sympathetic character and an understandable character for the first time. Because remember, he was not introduced until the original cartoon. He was not a toy originally. He became a toy because of the cartoon. He was the only one that had that. The others, Tila, He-Man, Man-at-Arms, Skeletor, Evil Lynn, they were all the original. They were originally toys that became the series, and they added Orko to the series that then became a toy. And he was always a little bit goofy and a little bit for the kids, right? He just never had that. But I thought they did a great job actually making him interesting to watch. And can we get a shout out to Henry Rollins playing Triclops, who is also the head of some kind of Johnny Mnemonic QAnon on Eternia cult? That's right? Fucking amazing. That's fucking amazing. He's like, join the mainframe.
That kind of gets me to even the point I'm screaming for, which is what is it with us in fanboydom that we're so toxic that we can't even appreciate the mythos in which is being created and being explored. Like, dude, literally is like, what happens in the situation of a whole fucking mythos that we all know in universe, and then we take away the main element that has made them masters of. Like, he literally starts answering what happens in the vacuum of space of power that creates their entire existence.
All right. Well, we put the hero on his back. We've piled on him. He sat there patiently. Now's that point where he's going to come on up and just put us on our backs, start whooping some butt. Who knows? Maybe he's got his manager back there to help him out. Maybe he's got the pretty girl on the side. Whatever it is, I don't know. We can get Kim in here to help you out too if you need to, Craig. I know she was just dying to be on this podcast, I'm sure.
Can't wait.
Can't wait. All right.
Can't wait. As soon as we have something that has to do with insurance or Harry Potter.
Okay. Fair. Well, we could potentially do Harry Potter one day. But all right. Star Child, you got the folding chair back now. Now it's time to chase us around the ring and take it away.
All right. I mean, I'm glad that I'm going last, because listening to your comments lets me see that one, you guys are underestimating these fanboys. There have actually been a lot more He-Man series since the original series. And there's been a lot in comic books and short stories and little books that they hand you. And She-Ra, of course, which ties into He-Man. So when you're reminding the fandom that Tila exists and it's really Masters of the Universe, you're preaching to the choir. They know. They know, and because they know, that's why they're disappointed. If you're just going off the original series, then yeah, you're like, what's the big deal? But if you really know the entire lore, like I'm assuming a lot of these fans do, then yeah, you're going to be pretty disappointed by this. But to defend the fandom a bit, because we also want to draw the line between disappointed fans and bigots. The disappointed fans are just like, look, I don't like this writing. I don't like the direction you took with these characters. The bigots are like, oh my God, she's gay. This sucks because she's gay. She's gay. This is the worst thing ever because she's gay. We have to make sure that we're making a distinction. All right, I'm going to be asking for my time back.
All right. Was it the 90s? Was it the 90s style haircut that gave it away with Tila? Because that's what I said. She shaved the side of her head. I'm like,
yeah, she looks like everyone's favorite sociology professor.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I totally got. I'm like, oh, Tila's gay. Cool. I mean, all right. That's what we're saying here. When she shaves the side of her head.
Sociology, my professors did not look like that. Sorry.
All right. Fair
enough. All right, poli-sci. Moving on.
Poli-sci. I yield the time.
But disliking a piece of media based on its content does not necessarily make you a toxic fanboy or less progressive for that matter. If you dislike a piece of content because of the effort of inclusion, that's not progressive. You're the people we can't stand. To be clear, we hate you. But you're also not obliged to like a piece of content just because the algorithm-friendly levels of inclusivity have jammed it in sideways. You know, like, it's actually equally condescending to the groups that you're thinking you're trying to serve, if you just like it for those reasons also. I'll put this to, let me critique it first. You know what I mean? Right off the bat. Like, my first question is always, did it hit? You know, was it overall entertaining? Did the comedy make you laugh? Did the horror movie freak you out? If you're busy nitpicking, you probably didn't really enjoy it anyway. You know, people don't really care about the characters and story arcs and plot threads and shit like that. I mean, just look at John Wick. No one gives a shit. Right? That movie makes no sense. No one gives a shit. You know, and did it hit? Not really. Let's be honest. You know, like, we've seen media that tries these things before. You know, the animation is better, but that's not saying a lot. The action's pretty generic. You know, there's some slashing and explosions. So, you know, that part of it, yeah, it's fine. We'll take it. What I definitely didn't like, again, you know, the subverting expectations just to subvert expectations. Like, you can do that, feel free, but if it doesn't click, it doesn't click. You know, so you open the movie, it kind of reminded me of when we were talking about Transformers, the movie, where they just like napalm the characters in the first 20 minutes, like all of that, you know, because they think it grabs you. But the thing is, when formerly smart and strong characters are just miraculously stupid and easy to kill just to move the story along, it has the opposite effect. Like, it actually kills the drama, because now you've taken me out of my place where I'm invested in this character and the decisions they make, you know, and it just didn't get me. You know, no one wants to see pathetic failure Man-at-Arms. No one wants to see, who the fuck asked for cancerous Orko? Like, who wanted that? Like, who the fuck, you know? Why the hell should I watch a Masters of the Universe without He-Man and Skeletor? I literally don't give a shit if it's just everybody else. And big fucking mistake, you didn't give me a better villain. I mean, say what you want about Skeletor, he's hard to ignore. But you didn't really give me a better antagonist than Skeletor. That's why they had to bring Skeletor back and juice him up at the end. And now, obviously, the elephant in the room, Tila. It's like we went from, again, if you watch the rest, if you know the rest of the lore, we went from someone that was already confident, loyal, intelligent, and adventurous female character. Like there was nothing wrong with Tila. There was nothing that needed to be updated about Tila. And now she's like goddamn Becky. Like, why the fuck am I watching this person? Like, oh my God, you guys, I can't believe you lied to me and kept a secret from me. That's not cool. That's like not family. I can't even be around you guys right now. This is so toxic. I just need to work on me right now. Peace out. And fucking storms out on her entire family because she's Lois Lane. Like she couldn't figure out that Prince Adam and He-Man was the same person. And later on, and this is when I'm done with Becky, when she bitches out Adam in heaven after he died, saving the universe. Again, you're giving me shit right now, Becky? Really? I mean, I won't say it's out of character because this is a new character, whatever, you're doing something new with the character. But if it doesn't hit, it doesn't hit, like the same way I have no use for reclusive failure Luke Skywalker, I'm not interested in Tila being a goddamn Becky right now. I just don't care. It's just not compelling, and I like the character a lot less now. You brought up Evelyn. Really liked Evelyn. Really liked Evelyn. I think she stayed the truest, and she was the most developed, and I liked how she bit the bullet and worked with the sorceress. Like, I thought that was a really good idea. That I really liked. I mean, story-wise, it was fine. I mean, it's He-Man, but yeah, they were trying way too hard to subvert expectations, and it didn't really hit. Like I said, who the fuck, like, really, we could have just burned Mossman all this time? Like, we could just, and set his ass on fire. We could just burned Mossman. Like, I had no idea. Like, all this time, like, I'll always respect when people try something new. I'll always give you, a little more respect. I mean, it's better than the New Adventures of He-Man from the 90s, which was absolutely fucking awful. But that doesn't mean that it was overall good.
We don't speak of such things. That and Highlander 2. We just don't talk about it.
Yeah, we just don't talk about it. You know what I mean? But, the big point is no one is ever really obliged to like something just because now there's a gay character or because a character is suddenly black. As I've said many times, when it's inferior, which is what this is, it will be blamed on the gay character, the female character, or the person of color, not because it was just a shit script from the beginning. And that's something that Kevin Smith clearly didn't understand. Like the last thing these groups needed was another group of people to say they hate them for another reason. And in the meantime, he's the white guy sitting in the corner. And that's also a big difference too. We want to make sure we're putting the blame, fandom toxic or not, on the right person. And yeah, the queer baiting, the tokens, the undeveloped mythology, I didn't feel like it was really inclusive all around. You want to be radical? You want to be really inclusive? Just make He-Man gay. You know it. I know it. Just make He-Man gay. Just have He-Man come out. I mean, most people already thought it was. And symbolically, I like it, because when you're in the closet, it's like you're Prince Adam. But then when you grab the long, hard sword of power, it's like you become He-Man. You know what I mean? And I think that, you know what, just have He-Man come cartwheeling out of the closet, please. Like, just do it. And for better He-Man fare, I mean, there are better options because actually, if I'm going to put them in order, I'm going to say that this was definitely still good for kids. I agree with you. But at the same time, the one that came out in the 2000s, the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe that came out in the 2000s, much better. That is better than the original. It's better than the movie. It's better than this. Absolutely. It starts